In Kasama, weeks after January 29th mayor by-election, some voters say they are still unsettled, not by who won, but what they were asked to surrender before casting their votes. Several residents told this investigation that during campaigns, they were offered money, milimeo or nshima, and in return asked to provide their national registration cards and voters' card details. Some say they complied out of fear. Others say they were warned that they would be watched.
Mutipancha bakaindi dwale pero wali wapo afyale chitan aletera aba umena bana kashi ale balemba na popa masaka 5 ndamwato wali wapopa no wali wa sausage alomba mpera ma 20 kwachi ati la peni let ushaka mvotere akachimuna wafyansho wabo tukamona ichichipeni cha UPND kwena mkongola chale tushitira ngana ngabwali batina efine ngata mvotere pa UPND mkesa kweshe fifi yakulya tule mpira
bene chabi kidashana bali bukutinya ngo ngata mvotere shani totuma fito ka kunya tule saba tukutipisha fya bana.
For these voters, the question now is simple. Was the election truly free and fair? Following the January 29th Kasama mayoral by-election, allegations of electoral malpractice began to surface. Community members accused the ruling United Party for National Development UPND of bribing voters and collecting details from the voters' national registration cards and voters' cards during the campaign period. This investigation seeks to establish whether these allegations constitute electoral malpractice, who, if anyone, is shielding accountability, and why the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has not taken any visible action. These concerns intensified after a public admission by the UPND Northern Province chairperson, Nathan Ilunga, acknowledged that party officials collected NRCs and voters' card details during the campaign.
So, ilio mule chita kampeni, chilanguka nga mule chita door to door, na mkwatana register. Mwalunga mabantu. Mwebele bushe mwalirembeshe okuvota atiye, ni mwebani. Mwaba mona mu register. Okay. Chachi inetua misanga mu register. Tamwalufu yaka kadi, iyo na alikwata. Tumoneni. Baleta filafine, mwamona kutila, kanshaba, she is a potential or he is a potential voter. Nomba, lila mwabashimikile elandwe lienu. Ili akutila mubongwelepo nga basumina liena kuti mwakopolola palapene mu register mwali ba voters card emo mwakopolola mwabepusha tumikopolole tumirembyo kutila tulina imwe nga basumina mwabalemba nga tabasumine mwabaleka.
The admission raised serious accountability questions. For example, what legal authority allows political parties to collect voters' national registration cards and voters' card details? If allowed, for what purposes? If not allowed, what consequences should follow? Peter Yuda of Forum for Democracy and Development FDD, who came second in the election, says the allegations merit scrutiny.
Kuchinchi wababiri polling station. Nano mama jin 20 yari verama ero batu pere ama figures na kwete 455 ba kwete na mponishingo ko less than 100 but bata manipulate 186 na ali umfira na ma videos vinto na bamoto wali vekete baleshita ma voters card bampande twachira pakubwera ati dia mule amkuvota mukaisebwera kulifo basunga yabambya abantu tabavota bali ba deprived. And if such cases are reported, police are failing to take action. Tualike tena bamukubatoa kapokola tapa befi achite mufuire mu taking a keen interest ukumono kutepante chala oneka chalo tule ku general election nga chakutira fya konkanyapo efita tuparoko tulea inana alalo mbana bo batira ati ma champions of democracy mwala ona ule chalo ngata mwaponene mo kumono kuchira mwamona bushe by election ukasa mind rishani.
The Center for Election and Governance, a local civil society organization advocating for good governance, monitored the polls. Its executive director, Geshom Sonda, was on the ground on the election day.
Well, on average, they were free, they were fair. That's how we graded them. But we are saying on average because they left a lot to be desired. We say this in relation to international standards of free and fair poll. In fact, our strategy to declare them free and fair was to just cool down the tempers and the emotions. But we can't sit on the problems. Bribery was rampant. And there was a lot of voter cheating, not vote buying per se. Here is the scenario. The foot soldiers for different candidates were on the ground identifying who the registered voters were by word, you know. And what they could do, they had the meeting points and centers. This is where they were feeding people, giving them soft drinks, giving them beer, and giving them some money. We presume, since these amounts were very minimal, 20 kwacha, 50 kwacha, the assumption was that these were meant to enable these people had come to the meeting center, to the campaign center, for them to get back. You know, we thought they were helping them get back. And as two soldiers, you have to facilitate their movements to go back and share the manifesto. You need to take care of them. That's normal. But when you talk to institutions like ACC, they will tell you that that's how corruption starts. You know, and to them, the rampant corruption in this country has to do with the small gifts, small tokens, and so on and so forth. So, from the electoral point of view, we need to get concerned that these are the issues the Electoral Commission of Zambia should have been on the ground to make it clear that such behaviors can't be tolerated. But they were quiet for reasons best known to themselves. Secondly, there were aspects of violence. There were a few instances of physical confrontation, like in Chitamba village. There were these supporters for the FDD candidate and those from UPND. One group had come to by the church, the other one by church in Chitamba. Just by seeing the colors of the other party, there was some confrontation, which even spread to location. We had the district commissioners from Muchinga, Luapula, you know.
Were they campaigning?
They were campaigning. They were dishing out party regalia. This is a vitenge, the t-shirts. We have people here, they even know them by name. They were buying food and so on and so forth. And they had the unregistered vehicles. They removed the number plates.
To some citizens, the conduct attributed to political players undermines the spirit of Zambia's electoral laws and codes of conduct.
Ine fana mwene kutampasa kwa ma election. Na mwene kampeni bale panga tawene sana. Bale tita umuntu nga aisa na voters card. Kwa dina mayo wa ikere apope shida mse wapa. Ampe pina ko change. Aisa na voters card. Ya aisa na vote. Fofine yalo nomba babula bamba kumona muchibuku mulya mwali botu mitwa mulya izabala muna mutu buku muchibuku so nga bamusangeshina bamwana nechinzo bachongapo ndanga bachongapo oro nomba baisoku baisa palika voters card balemba voters number na regi number ifuelo kale kale bale chita campaign twale afye twale mbesho kwa bula mareji ngakuli ko wali akufefofine noti ukusenda reji nabo balepera ma 50 kwacha olo palanga bapanga campaign bale ndati mutampi okulanda ati inenga sha vote banganda pamwe andita pa chaka wane bale abantu ukulapa nomba nishuyo abantu fcho bale pila chinshi nikucheichi bale pa abantu kucheichi oko tulapa nga tulela ifilayo nomba ine shishi ofo bale pila kwena ine mwandini ofo nasange pobu binasangile po kwena Noko irishanya twale irishanya kwa ati takwa abo kuvota kwa msango uyu.
What constitutes electoral malpractice under Zambian law? Josiah Kalala, Executive Director of Chapter 1 Foundation, and a legal practitioner, explains whether collecting voters' NRC and voters' card details during campaigns is lawful.
It might be lawful in terms of like registration for a political party membership. Maybe that is the requirement. I think what the law prohibits is taking those cards away from the owners. Prohibits getting details or getting the card. But I would imagine if a person is, for instance, I'm a member of a political party, and the political party in its mobilization wants to know which of its members are going to vote, for instance, or I would imagine it shouldn't be a problem, but I have to find that SI to read it to know for sure. There are specific criminal aspects to the malpractice, because sometimes malpractice in an election goes beyond the criminal law, which the police administer. So then it would be incumbent on, for instance, ECZ to penalize the malpractice, or the losing party to challenge it in court, and then the police investigate the criminal aspects of it.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia is constitutionally mandated to regulate elections, enforce the Electoral Code of Conduct, and take action against political players found in breach. In light of the allegations and the admission by the ruling party official, the Commission was asked to explain whether it was aware of these practices and what action, if any, has been taken. The response from the Electoral Commission of Zambia, represented by Chief Electoral Officer Mr. Brown Kasaro, has been read.
It is illegal to collect a voter's card during campaign or any other time, even when elections are not imminent. A voter's card is a personal document used to identify a voter, and therefore being in possession of another person's voter's card or asking someone to disclose their details on the voter's card is an offense. Regulation 38 and 39 of the voter registration regulations are instructive on those matters.
The Zambia Police Service is mandated to enforce electoral law and ensure peaceful, credible elections. Zambia Police Public Relations Officer Godfrey Chilabi was asked to describe the just-ended Kasama mayoral by-election and to tell whether these allegations were reported and what action, if any, has been taken.
We did very well. Remember, we were just coming from Chawama that time. We had policing elections, electoral duties, security duties in Chawama, and then later on we moved to Kasama. So with regard to the police receiving a report of electoral malpractice in the records, or formally receiving such a report, we didn't find any report after asking the officers who were on the ground. Formally, we didn't receive any complaint from the police side.
So there were also some of the members from Zambia Police Service who were part of the district conflict management committee of the ECZ. Didn't they pick anything?
Those in the committee, usually, a committee, district electoral conflict resolution committee consists of members from different, organizations. Those are the ones that make up that committee, and I agree with you. We have a police officer amongst that committee. So in that case, the reporting mechanism of the district electoral conflict management committee, the reporting mechanism differs. Whatever they have resolved, a summative report, that summative report is not formally handed over to the police, but they resubmit that report in that hierarchy. Is it ECZ going up? The shooting as well, we checked, I asked with the command and everything. We did not have a report or a complaint to say there was a shooting at a tutoring center. First of all, on the other side, as we say, if someone asked for the details of someone, that is an electoral offense, of which we consider as police to be an electoral offense. Someone asking for the details, particulars of a voter or whatever, that is purely an electoral offense. So, did we receive such as police? No.
Some voters allege they were paid before voting and warned they would be monitored inside polling booths. Others claim they were told they would be followed to ensure they voted as instructed.
Ayena balembe fifine paper rubampele mpia moya mubatino kuti mukaye mukuvotera pa UPND ata muvote pa UPND mukisa mukuti wese chef so abengi chali pero mwenso bambi bavoteri no mwenso bambi ngani mumishi mulandi wa bututu kuti lati muna mwine ndevota balambona.
These concerns erupted from Lualuo, Mobanga Chipoya, and Inkole urban polling centers. The allegations could not be independently verified by the time of this report, as they emerged after the election. The Anti-Voter Apathy Project, AVAP, echoed concerns about the conduct of the election. AVAP Kasama District Coordinator Amos Mselema raised questions about voter treatment at polling stations.
What we also observed was an issue of voter apathy, which is something that is still growing, especially during by-elections. We observed a few pockets of violence which were quelled, and some incidents of some political party cadres coercing voters not to vote by way of buying their voters' cards in order for the voters to go and vote for them. That is a condemned practice, because in a democracy, no one should be coerced.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia has powers to sanction political players who breach the Electoral Code of Conduct.
Yes, ECZ received complaint and those were dealt with through the Conflict Management Committee. Once the Commission has declared the election result, it becomes factus official. This means that the Commission cannot deal with the malpractice after declaring result. The courts are then called upon to determine whether the electoral malpractice could have affected the result in line with Section 97 of the Electoral Act. Thus, once results are declared, the aggrieved party may petition the relevant court or tribunal to deal with the electoral malpractice.
The Kasama mayoral by-election was declared free and fair, and the winner was sworn in. But the allegations that emerged of vote buying, voter intimidation, and collection of sensitive voter details remain unresolved. For voters who say they were pressured or watched, the silence from authorities raises troubling questions. If the electoral malpractice is acknowledged, but no action follows, what does that mean for Zambia's democracy? On this investigation from Radio Mano, my name is Christian Kasonde.